There we go. So tonight we are talking, this is our work at home webinar, and we are talking about Teach Your Way to Wealth with Hannah Sharapan, how to create an excellent side income online using your current skills as a teacher. Now, I'm sure many of us are very aware that teachers are an invaluable part of every society. They're responsible for molding young minds, both intellectually and emotionally. And despite their significant influence, however, teachers are also some of the most underpaid workers in our community. And this unfair arrangement makes it hard for them to save enough money for a decent retirement. So in this webinar, we're going to discuss some of the ways that teachers can earn online using the skills that they've honed through years of generating and fostering relationships. So if you or someone you know has made a career out of teaching, learning about this business opportunity can help provide an additional source of income that can be maintained despite a hectic schedule, or like what many of us have faced in the last year and a bit. Many teachers have been off or are now working from home, and so learning how they can create something a little bit more flexible. And I know many teachers that I've heard of who are very cautious about stepping back into the classroom. So here's what we're going to cover tonight. We're going to talk about the problems that teachers face when trying to earn a side income, the opportunity perfectly suited for teachers wanting a side income, the skills and qualities teachers have that make them excellent candidates, how to get started, plus much more. And as I mentioned before, we have a very special guest, Hannah Sharapan. So Hannah was always interested in childhood education, having a backyard preschool during the summers from the time she was 14. And in college, her major was psychology and elementary education. So with her first love being the preschool age, however, she and a friend opened their own preschool, Creative Preschool, and the school was highly successful from the first semester, having a waiting list. And within a few years, she fell in love with teaching adults as well through her online business. She liked the time freedom and helping adults make changes for their health and to become financially sound. So she changed careers and has found it extremely rewarding. So Hannah, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us tonight.
Well, thank you for asking me. It's quite an honor, and hopefully we can maybe make a difference in someone else's life as well.
Absolutely. All right. So I will let you take it away.
Okay, well, first of all, why teachers have difficulty earning on the side, I can tell you a little bit about that from our personal experience. When I had my preschool, which, by the way, was 60 hours a week, not even an average 40 hours a week, and with that time spent, certainly felt we didn't have much time for anything else. And Alan was full-time in the insurance business, which meant crazy hours. So everything we looked at had three problems. They were all high risk, and we didn't really feel we could take that. They all took a great deal of time, and we certainly didn't have that. And certainly they all high risk, high time, and way too much money to get started. So any investment was really difficult. So we put the whole idea aside until we actually heard about this particular business. And next slide. And you know, if you're a teacher or if you know teachers, you probably are aware that they work long hours. A lot of people view teachers and think, oh, well, they work 8 hours like most other people do in other kinds of occupations. However, in addition to that full day in front of the classroom, teachers are usually expected to arrive at school at least an hour before school begins, and many stay an average of 1 to 3 to 5 hours beyond the traditional school day for meetings, grading, teachers' conferences, and other administrative or volunteer activities. Next. And teachers have demanding schedules. Thousands of students and parents are relying on those teachers to not only be present, but also to be focused every school day. In other words, when you're in front of those children, you know how you have to be on top at all times. You can't let any memory lapses or any kind of side thoughts come along. In fact, they actually have a joke about teaching being the only job where you have to do more work when you're called in sick, because then what do you have to do? Either you have to find a substitute teacher, or the school does. You have to coordinate with that substitute on your lesson plans, your activities. And then when you come back, there's always a catching up, isn't there? Because that some maybe not be able to fulfill everything that you had planned. And then to get caught up by checking papers, reading reports when they return, it can take a great deal of time depending on what age group you have. Next. And teachers often short on energy. That picture really depicts it very well, doesn't it? I've heard so many teachers, like 3/4 of the teachers report that they often find work stressful. As a result, they're more likely to work physically and emotionally exhausted. When they leave home, they come home, and it was all I knew I could do was to feed my children, get them in bathe, and get them in bed before I was really ready for bed myself. And this makes them unable to pursue business opportunities that might also demand a lot from them physically as well. So, there are a lot of business opportunities out there, but they might take a whole lot out of you as well. Okay, next.
Well, and Hannah, when you and I were talking earlier, you mentioned how your health drastically changed in the second
definitely.
year of teaching. Can you just share a little bit about that before we move forward?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yes, when I'd be with the children, inevitably, if they had a runny nose, I had a runny nose. If they had a cough, I had a cough. They had a stomach bug, I had a stomach bug. And that was very, very common, in addition to the energy of having to be in bed by 9 o'clock at night. And interesting enough, after I did start this business, I had a teacher working for me as well to do some other classes, and she had that same experience. And she said to me one day, "How come you're not sick all the time?" And then I was able to share it with her, and it made an enormous difference in her health as well. So it's really neat to think that there are some things you can do that while you're creating a business that you can also improve your health as well.
Mm-hmm. And your energy.
And energy, for sure. I gained 3 hours to every day. I really, truly did. Imagine if you could do something on the side that could also improve your health and increase your energy. I've just told you 2 instances for sure where it's possible. I'll hear from many, many other people throughout our organization who are also teachers or former teachers. Okay, next. And by the way, when we say this is a business opportunity that's ideal for teachers. Okay, next slide, please. One of the things that we noticed, we went to one of our conferences one year, and they asked who in the room, and this is with such a successful company, who in the room was either a current teacher or a former teacher. 1/4 of the room stood up. Now that's a big percentage out of 100% to also be teachers. But you'll be able to see why, if you haven't already, by the things that we're going to share with you. According to the most recent data from the National Center for Education Statistics, public school teachers earn on an average of $58,950. It might be more after a period of time that they've been involved. It might be less than that, depending on the school district. So even though this is slightly higher than the national average, there's not much room for promotion in teaching unless you decide to go into administrative work. The only raise most of them ever get are incremental based on your years of service, and maybe you experienced that. But what about merit? What about all the effort you put out? What about the things that you do that go above and beyond? Do you get paid for those? Okay, next. And what teachers really need is to be able to have an income that's going to come in regardless of what else they're doing. In other words, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you work until you die. And that's according to Warren Buffett. So if you can develop passive or residual income, which are income sources that provide a cash flow for you based on work you performed only once or with minimal effort to keep it maintained. And that kind of income is like going to your mailbox every month and taking out a check whether you work that month or not. That's the beauty of this kind of business, okay? And one of the best methods, of course, this online network marketing is incredible. When we started this business up really until, especially since COVID, but even before that, one of the things that we actually could find that was absolutely incredible for us was that where we used to have to go plan to babysitters if we had children to go out to do appointments. We had to pack up whatever it was we wanted to show. We had to travel to where we would be and come home. And I still thought it was wonderful. I mean, the benefits so far outweighed that we didn't even second guess that. But now with online network marketing, oh my gosh, it's such a breeze. No matter how busy you are, you're able to find time for this kind of business. Okay, next, please. And the advantages, let's just talk about some of this. Well, first of all, I don't know that you can even call it an investment, because really what it is just products that you use personally. Gives you control over your schedule. So imagine, let's say you decide that eventually you want this to be a new career. Imagine not having to get up at a certain hour every day, getting your shower and getting off to work in a hurry. What if instead you controlled that schedule? What if you didn't have to leave your children and you never had to miss a school program that they had, or you never had to find a substitute if somebody took ill? And the ability to do it from your computer and the comfort of your own home. You can do this business in your jammies if you want. And of course, it allows you to be your own boss. And for most of us, I think when it comes right down to it, really feel good about being able to be in charge of our own life and knowing we can control our future. Providing multiple sources of income. We are earning more now than we ever dreamed was possible, and can add supplemental retirement funds. It is really sad how few people really have adequate money in retirement. Now, as a teacher, you do generally get a higher retirement than a lot of other folks. However, if you decide that you want to stop teaching before, say, 25 years, or you're age 62 or something like that, you might take a serious cut in that pay. And maybe you don't want to wait till you're 65, or you don't want to wait till you've been working and teaching for 30 years. So can be a great benefit as well. And the skills the teacher has makes you a perfect candidate. If you're a teacher or you know a teacher, let's just look at some of the things that you already know to do. Well, first of all, network marketing isn't for everybody. We do understand that. But almost all of the skills and qualities you need to succeed in this business are either something that you already were born with or something you've developed through years of practice. Now, there are loads of people who are successful in this business who aren't teachers, but teachers do have that edge because of this skill set. Okay, next. One thing is teachers are generally very articulate. They have a knack for making almost any topic interesting, and they know how to express their thoughts in easily understandable terms. That is very powerful when you're teaching adults just as much as it is when you're teaching children. And in network marketing, this can give you an edge when you're explaining products and the processes, how to build a business with your prospects. Next.
And another thing that you mentioned too, Hannah, was that not only can teachers break things down, but they can make them easy to remember, right?
Yes.
When you're learning something new, you want something easy to remember. So can you share just a little bit about that?
Well, it's interesting. My husband's in this business as well. And he knows when to turn it over to me because he thinks he can just say, bing, and somebody's got it. Where I know, wait a minute, we have to take them from this step to this step to this step to make sure they've got it. And of course, that comes from that teaching background that we have. We all have already learned that set of skills. So this can give us an edge when we're explaining products and processes, of course, to prospects.
Awesome.
Okay, and next. And teachers are patient. Even when we don't want to be, we have to learn how to be, right? And there are sometimes we have a difficult child or a difficult situation, but somehow or other we have to draw on that ability to be more patient. So handling kids throughout our careers has taught us to keep our composure and adjust our pace depending on who we're dealing with. And it's very important in network marketing as well. We're being able to talk to different types of people with different interests and abilities is a useful skill. One of the things I love about this business is the ability we can talk to diverse ages, people from different demographics, people from different races, occupations, education. It's just a wonderful feeling. And then the skills, patience being one of the major ones. Again, you have that when you are working with the people that you're training in the business, but also if you have a family, it does carry over. You will find, and you probably already have if you're a teacher, how much that learning that skill of patience is helping you with your family. Okay, next. And teachers are organized, generally speaking. We have learned that we have to follow curriculum and a strict schedule. Many of us have come from a background where we have to turn in lesson plans ahead of time, which allows them to be able to focus. It allows you as a teacher to maintain your focus and not easily get sidetracked, which is critical in any type of business. So the more focused you can become, the easier it becomes as well. Okay, next. When we say teachers are leaders, teachers know how to inspire people. That's what we do. My husband always says the greatest salespeople in the world are teachers and preachers. Because if you think about it, that is, again, what we're doing. We're selling them on why they would want to learn their math problems, or why they would want to learn how to read better, etc. So in network marketing, failing to hit goals is one common reason why people actually quit. And teachers excel at being able to give those step-by-step instructions with inspirational skills necessary to help keep the people motivated. Because I always say the saddest thing to me in our business, I know the only people who don't make it are the ones who quit. And so one of my jobs is to help keep them inspired and motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And what you mentioned too before is that really the only difference from teaching kids is now you're teaching
adults. That's all I did was make a shift. It isn't any different, except that this is a lot more lucrative, a lot more flexibility in time. It's my own thing. I mean, I have all the other benefits, but yet I'm still teaching. Mm-hmm. And it isn't that I didn't love teaching children, because I did. Okay. All right, next.
Yes. And one more thing that you mentioned too is how teachers have this innate ability to be very encouraging, to esteem and to help everyone be recognized. And when you can do that in a team environment, wow.
Absolutely. The more that you can esteem, whether it's children or adults, the more you can actually show them that you believe in them and congratulate them for what their achievements are. Big or small goes a long way. And there isn't an adult I know that still doesn't love to hear those good comments just as much as children do. So that's another great benefit. And, I can think of things people said to me early in our business and how those resonated with me. So now we can turn around and do that for other people as well.
Excellent.
And another benefit, teachers have a great network of contacts. It could be students, parents from all the years that you have taught, or other teachers, or it can be relationships you've developed throughout your careers, whether it's through the administration or going to PTA meetings. I mean, there's so many different ways that you have those contacts. And it's interesting. I also found when we started this business, how many people looked up to us because of that teaching background, because most people really do respect teachers. Sometimes we don't always feel that respect, but they do. And I think people more than ever now after COVID really respect teachers for sure. So this is a way that we can show them how we can become loyal, how they can become loyal customers or business partners with us.
Awesome. And that brings us to the end of that part. And I know you had a story you wanted to share about that contact with, I think it was your daughter's second grade teacher.
Yes, right.
It's a great story to end with.
And Kristen, whether she was ever a teacher or not, you can see she really knows how to listen, doesn't she? She reminded me of all the things we said in our conversation earlier. Yes, actually, one of the first things we did, because it was a natural place for me, was to talk to other teachers. We purposely did not talk to our daughter's second grade teacher because we felt that a little uncomfortable while she had our daughter in class. And one day she came up to me and she said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Of course." And she said, "Can you please share with me, is there something about us that you don't think that we could do this business as well as the other teachers? Because you've never brought it up to me." And I realized that instead of being respectful, she was actually hurt by it. And I said, "Oh my God, Stacy, we would love to have you become involved." And she did. So yes, you just have to know that the way we always put it is you offer to others and it's their right to refuse. but we let them know at least what is available for them so that they can make an informed decision.
Yes. And I think that is such a critical piece and such a great note to end on, because I know that there's going to be a lot of teachers who are either watching this now or are going to be watching this in the future who are looking for something else that they can do. And Hannah said it right there. The best thing you can do is take a look and then do with the information what you will, but at least then you have that knowledge, which is what we want. So Hannah, I want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing tonight. I so appreciate it. Hannah is one of my favorite people to listen to and to get guidance from, and she does it in such a loving way. It's absolutely phenomenal. So thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you. We have a very mutual admiration society. I feel that way about Kristen as well. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
So I'll just quickly end this off. And Hannah, if you got to go, that's no problem. I'll end it off here.
That's all right. Yeah.
So I just wanted to let you know, if you're looking at this and you're wondering how can you get started, if you're curious, then what I would like to do is invite you to take a free no-risk tour of our business center, where you can learn and explore the opportunity to get ahead with an online business that you can run from your laptop and your smartphone, or either or, basically wherever there's an internet connection. And in the tour, you're going to discover the market that is experiencing phenomenal growth worldwide, the high quality consumable products that our customers buy from us online, which is the best part, how you can create sales without having to be the salesperson, the 60-year-old supplier that we partnered with and the business model, our competitive advantage, some of the fabulous benefits like expense paid travel, cars, income flexibility, all those great things that Hannah mentioned in the webinar, how you can do it in your spare time, and the best part, how you can start on a budget, because it doesn't have to be expensive to get into business by any means.